This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, as always, Jeff Mallon. And with me is my partner in crime, Mark Souza. We got a lot to talk about today in sports. We got the Pro Bowl announcements. Some guys got snubbed that we'll talk about, some that earned their spot. We'll get more on that later. We got to round up a couple NBA games that happened, including an interesting game between the Lakers and Nets, and other news and other ideas like the National Signing Day is happening and other things of that nature, so we'll get right on that later. But first, we'll talk about the Pro Bowl, as we have official announcements for the Pro Bowl. We got the lineups, but one player that I think, or actually two, that we should talk about that got snubbed is quarterback Andrew Luck and running back Alvin Kamara have both been snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Do you agree with that?
Who'd you say, Andrew Luck?
And Alvin Kamara.
So Andrew Luck did not make the Pro Bowl, huh? Who made it over him?
Well, I will look at quarterbacks on the list of...
Because just by you saying that, it sounds like definitely Andrew Luck got snubbed. Maybe Kamara. Most likely Kamara got snubbed as well.
Here's the list of Pro Bowlers in the quarterbacks on the AFC side. Number 1, an obvious choice, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Phillip Rivers. And number 3, a questionable Tom Brady.
And is there alternates as well?
These are just this is just the list of starters.
Oh yeah, the alternates get.
The alternates don't really. I feel like they don't really count because then that's
I mean, most of them play.
Yeah, but it's like Super Bowl and guys saying no.
Right. Every year there's like 30 to 40 more that get put on because of people who say no or for whatever reason. Yeah, Andrew Luck didn't make it, but Tom Brady did. That doesn't sit well with me. Andrew Luck's had the much more obvious, better season.
Tom Brady has had probably one of his worst seasons, let's be honest.
Yeah, that sounds like a legacy award. I mean,
yeah,
and it's awful because I think Andrew Luck might garner a few MVP votes. Like, I don't think he'll win it, but I think like some people might. Actually, you know what? I'm not saying he can't win it. It would take an incredible feat in the last 2 weeks, but what the Colts have done this year has been pretty nice, a nice bounce back. So,
he deserves the recognition of a Pro Bowler, though. That's for sure, in my opinion.
I mean,
this is all about
to finish. He's going to finish with like 4,400 yards. And probably really 36 or 37 touchdowns at least. He has a chance to even hit. I know this sounds crazy, but he has a chance to hit 40 touchdowns. He's only 6 away. Six in the last 2 games.
It's kind of the most under the radar 40 touchdown mark that we've ever seen. Just how much like no one is looking at that compared, because I think
he's
Mahomes
actually going to have the best season of his career, more than likely. Maybe other than 2014.
It's unfortunate for him because Mahomes has had a much better season. It's not like much better, but it's just like in a more electric season, I guess you can say, on a more successful team. And I think that's what has been shadowed over him.
Tom Brady has basically the same amount of yards as Luck. Touchdowns is 24-9 for Brady, where Luck is 34-13. Yeah, and I think Luck has just done so much more with that team.
I agree. And also, and then we talk about Alvin Kamara, who's had a great season as well. The guys he got snubbed over were Todd Gurley, Saquon Barkley, and Ezekiel Elliott. But I think doesn't it feel like he had a better season than Ezekiel Elliott to me?
Ooh, I actually agree with this. I think those three deserve it over Kamara.
I don't know. Kamara's just been still a very positive output to a very good Saints team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. But the numbers aren't. I'm pretty sure the numbers aren't going to show that he's had been. I mean, like it kind of sucks for Kamara because he's like part of a backfield, and on offense that spreads the ball around. But I can't put him in over Barkley, Elliott, or Gurley. Which one would you put him in over?
I might put him in over Elliott, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just based off like success with the team, and also just he's also been a very good part of their winning ways, the Saints. I feel like it should not be about not just stats, but also just how much he impacts his team. And I know Ezekiel Elliott is a huge impact to his team. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like Kamara has been a huge part of why the Saints are so successful right now.
Well, Kamara really carried that team for the first half of the year, but when Ingram came back, his roles changed. In fact,
well, that wasn't his fault. That was just.
Oh, it's not his fault. I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm not saying he's not as good as Elliott. I'm just saying that it is based on numbers. Like that is the biggest thing, right?
I know,
like,
but I think it should be also based off impact with the team you're on.
Yeah, but But isn't Elliott more of an impact player on the Cowboys than Kamara on the Saints? Because I think that Elliott has a bigger factor in the Cowboys season than Kamara does for the Saints.
Yeah, but I also got to look at team records in that stance, and Kamara's probably won some games more than Elliott's won some games for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna disagree with that. Let's look at Kamara's stats though, because Elliott's are pretty good. They're extremely good. I mean, I like Kamara. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, he has like half the numbers, and he only has 5 more receptions than Elliott on the season.
5 more, that means he's better. No, I'm kidding. Totally nothing.
He has a lot of touchdowns,
okay,
though.
we can both agree on this. Aaron Rodgers in the Pro Bowl should not be there.
Who made it over, or who
well,
didn't
it's
make
Drew
it?
Brees, Jared Goff, and Aaron Rodgers.
Goff has kind of hit a rough stretch.
I understand Goff because how good the Rams have been playing. He's the forefront of that. But Aaron Rodgers, that one has been... That's a question for me. That's a big question mark.
Who would you put in over him? That's always what I have to ask, right? Like that's... I would... First thought to my head is Russell Wilson.
Yeah, even Mitchell Trubisky's had a pretty positive year, all things considered.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd put Rodgers in over Trubisky for sure, but I don't know. Russell Wilson has 31 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. It's pretty good. His passing yardage isn't there because they're a running team. I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers puts up pretty good numbers every year. And what, doesn't he have like 2 picks on the season? Like he has some ridiculously low interception total. 23 and 2. 23 touchdowns, 2 picks. I get it. That one's way less of a
I don't know.
problem than Tom Brady. Way less of a problem.
Yeah, but I just also got to look. I just think the Packers have been playing very poorly this season, so that's why I.
Yeah, but if we did it on that, then only the best teams. They already have an advantage, right? Like they already get a lot of players into the Pro Bowl, but I mean, we have to recognize that players can be good on bad teams.
Yeah, but yeah, you want to list off some other players, then you see how you react to them.
What about wide receivers?
Okay, we can do wide receivers. For the AFC, we have an obvious DeAndre Hopkins, an obvious Tyreek Hill, an obvious Antonio Brown, and a Keenan Allen that I can see on there too.
I agree with that. I like that list.
Any snubs on the AFC side you would consider?
For wide receivers, you said Antonio Brown, right?
Yeah. Would Juju's
out on the outside looking in.
Juju, some people can argue had a better year this year than Antonio Brown.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are their numbers?
Well, I don't know their numbers off the top of my head right now, but I know that he's had some huge games and where Antonio Brown is like only non-existent.
So Antonio Brown has 90 catches for 1,100 yards and 13 touchdowns, which is incredible. 13's a lot.
For a wide receiver, absolutely. I don't think Antonio Brown has that many.
Okay. unless these stats are wrong here.
Does he have more?
Antonio Brown has 13 touchdowns.
Oh, they both have the same.
No. I didn't say anything about Juju. Antonio Brown has
Antonio
90
Brown has 90.
for 11.
I thought you said Juju. I apologize.
And 13 touchdowns. So 90 for 1,100, 13 touchdowns. Juju has 95 for 1,200 and 6 touchdowns. So he has 2 more receptions, about 75 more receiving yards, but 7 less touchdowns. That's probably the kicker right there.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Juju's probably going to make it. I would say that he makes it based on one of those guys dropping out. Keenan Allen's hurt right now, too.
But I think you should have put him in at the start,
Yeah, but there's only so many spots, right? It's a zero-sum game. Like, you can't just say 7 receivers will make it. Like, they only pick the top 4, and somebody's going to get left out. So that was the AFC, you said? So Juju. Who else? Is there anybody else that has an argument?
I
think Emmanuel Sanders had a really good argument until he got hurt.
Yeah, I would say so. He probably would have made it if he didn't get hurt, to be honest with you. I don't know. That's an interesting one because you can't really. That's like. Let's see.
Emmanuel Sanders for sure was like on pace, but
T.Y. Hilton.
Interesting. T.Y. is a little up and down this year, but he's had some really big games.
He's had some huge games.
I like it. I would put Emmanuel Sanders in if he was if he had stayed healthy. He for sure would have been in the top 4.
All right, here are the receivers for the NFC. Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, and then I just got an ad on my phone. Thank you.
Hold on, can we stop real quick?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
I have a huge snub.
Who? It's the AFC?
Christian McCaffrey. Ouch.
Oh, yeah.
I would say he deserves it over Kamara for the biggest snub in the NFC. McCaffrey has played almost.
He should have gotten in it for the quarterback position. Huh.
He's almost played every snap this season in the NFL for his team. Like, he's only missed 7 plays, I believe. It's like some ridiculous number. But, I mean, he puts up all kinds of numbers, right? I mean, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay.
And also, this is a popularity contest, we should remember.
All right, so go ahead with
so wide receivers in the NFC were Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that makes sense. So say it again.
Julio Jones makes sense. Michael Thomas makes sense. Adam Thielen makes sense. Devontae Adams makes sense, all things considered. But I could see some people ahead of him.
Like?
Well, let's see. We have an NFC. Alshon Jeffrey had a pretty good year.
So these are Devontae Adams stats. 100 for 1,312 touchdowns, which are better than I think everybody that we named on the AFC list except for DeAndre.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty darn good, man.
That's also very forgetful because he's on a very poor Packers team, unfortunately.
I know, but it seems like you're just downgrading him because their team isn't very good, just like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Devontae Adams is putting up big-time numbers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying I feel like
Julio Jones is on a bad team.
Well, Julio Jones is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. You can't say that with Devontae Adams.
But his numbers are 100 with 1,506 touchdowns, so he's well behind in touchdowns, and he's ahead by about 170 yards in receiving, same number of catches. So, I mean, their stats are they're pretty close. They're pretty close. Who else is on it? Michael Thomas?
Yeah,
he's been kind of up and down lately, which is
but he's
odd.
He's Brees' go-to, and they've always had great chemistry together.
Mm-hmm. He has 100 catches, 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Anything else? We should do defense as well. Obviously, Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, and Akeem Hicks.
There's a big snub there. DeForest Buckner, big snub.
He's an alternate.
Yeah, but it's weird that Fletcher Cox made it over him, considering the two.
How many sacks does Fletcher Cox have?
I believe 6.
And Buckner has 10.
11 and a half
11 and a half now?
Mm-hmm.
I knew he had 10 in the recently. So,
but even not just that, his tackle numbers are better.
Would you say Richard Sherman should have gotten since we're on the subject of no Niners defense players, should he gotten a Pro Bowl?
So cornerbacks are judged on interceptions, which is probably the dumbest thing you could ever, I guess, gauge
That's the
someone
thing.
on.
Richard Sherman doesn't get passed to because he's always on his opponent.
There was a few years there where Nnamdi Asomugha wasn't getting picked for the Pro Bowl, even though he was the best corner in the NFL, because no one would throw the ball to him. Nobody would throw the ball to his side. So how do you get stats if the ball doesn't come your way as a defensive player? You can't, right? So in terms of that, I'd say Richard Sherman for sure. Who made it though? Who were the defensive players that made? I know Leighton Vander Esch was a snub for the Cowboys. I thought he probably
Kyle Fuller for the Bears. That makes sense. Patrick Peterson. Okay. Darius Slay, Detroit Lions, and Byron Jones of Dallas.
These are a lot of bad teams.
Darius Slay is a big question mark over Richard Sherman for me personally.
Darius Slay is regarded
Peterson
as one of the best corners in the league,
but has he had a good year?
I mean, would you say he hasn't?
I guess that's
like why?
fair.
Like what would you argue that Richard Sherman's year has been better than
He probably
his?
I think Richard Sherman leads the league in passes like not thrown to him this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Darius
that should
Slay
be,
though does follow receivers, so he is a shadow corner. So there's something to be said there, because those corners are going to get the ball thrown their way a little bit more because they're always on the best player.
What about Patrick Peterson? Agree or disagree?
I'm not sure. He's a really good corner, but I don't know.
I'm judging like how he did this season, honestly.
I don't know. I can't say that I watched every single Cardinals game that deeply, you know?
True. Very true.
I don't know.
All right, I'll tell you. Let me ask you a question. What team do you think has the most Pro Bowl selections?
Most Pro Bowl, probably the Rams. No, let's see. The most. It's got to be one of the better teams. I mean,
You're right on that.
I would say the Chiefs.
Close. They have 6. But no, it's the Chargers with 7.
That makes sense. I was thinking about them.
Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon, Melvin Ingram, Derwin James, Adrian Phillips, Mike Pouncey, and Phillip Rivers. So a center, a quarterback, a running back,
Receiver.
a defensive end, a wide receiver, all walk into a bar. No, I'm kidding.
And they probably would have had Bosa, too, if he would have played for most of the season, but he was hurt.
He's been hurt most of the season, last couple of years, too. And
They've drafted really well. Derwin James, he fell to them. A lot of people thought he was going to be picked higher and fell into their lap. He's been a great player.
And I kind of a special thing, too, on the running back side in the AFC. Philip Lindsay and James Conner both got Pro Bowl.
That's pretty cool.
James Conner, who no one expected to even have a good season or even play because Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
And Philip Lindsay, the undrafted rookie.
Yep. He's the first offensive undrafted rookie ever to make the Pro Bowl in his rookie year. So
Congratulations to him.
And it's crazy, too, because the Broncos drafted Royce Freeman in the 3rd round to be like their
the
next
guy,
big
yeah,
running back.
I forgot about that. He's been kind of talked about under the radar.
And I don't know if he's necessarily been bad. It's just more of a thing that Philip Lindsay's been
It's
really
just
good.
exactly. It's more of Philip Lindsay has been playing rel.
Yeah. So I honestly think, look, I think that the biggest snub, and I'm not kidding, is DeForest Buckner. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to put him over Aaron Donald. But here are his numbers compared to Fletcher Cox and Akeem Hicks. Fletcher Cox, 7.5 sacks, 41 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss. Akeem Hicks, 6 sacks, 41 tackles, 11 for a loss. Now here's DeForest Buckner, 11 sacks, 60 tackles, 16 for a loss. He blows both of them out in every single category, not even close. And it's crazy because I know that we've seen some players on this list that play on bad teams. The 49ers are also a team with a bad record, so
I wouldn't
weird.
say they're bad because their team is bad.
They have a bad record.
They're just a beat up team with a bad record.
Just like the Packers have a bad record and they have a few Pro Bowlers. Like I know the Niners did get a couple Pro Bowlers, but didn't George Kittle get snubbed? Zach Ertz made it for the NFC. I guess that makes sense. There's only one tight end, right?
Yeah. 2, I think. Kittle. It was Kittle and...
Kittle made it as an alternate.
I don't think it was an alternate. I think it might have been actually.
I believe they only have one.
I will look. For tight ends...
I know Kelsey and Ertz made it as the 1 and 2.
There is Travis Kelce and Eric Ebron in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is for the NFC...
Ertz, for sure, because he's...
Mm-hmm. It's Ertz and Kittle. So Kittle is a actual Pro Bowler. He played a great season.
I was told he was an alternate. I know that the 49ers fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, made it as the only fullback. I don't have any problems with that with these with most of these players, but maybe Christian McCaffrey doesn't belong in the Pro Bowl. But man, that sounds weird to say that he hasn't had one of the best seasons in the NFL this year.
I see what you're getting at, but it's like we said, it's a popularity contest, and it's voting from the fans, not like coaches or anything like that. So that is how life works. I can't really explain it other than that.
Well, I think that the players that didn't get picked and
should read into it more.
I think they should read in their spare time with this extra time. Don't watch the Pro Bowl. Just read a little bit more. Or maybe instead of reading, they can relax by listening. And that's exactly what you can do with Audible. Listening to audiobooks inspire us, motivate us, and bring us closer as people. And there's no better place to listen than with Audible. Get your first audiobook free along with 2 selected Audible original titles and exclusive fitness programs when you start a 30-day trial. So take the time to listen on Audible. Visit audible.com/GSMC book or text GSMC book to 500 to get started today. Again, sports fans, go to audible.com/GSMC book or text GSMC book to 500.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by...
Welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We finished talking about the Pro Bowl selection that happened recently. Now we're going on to the NBA. And the game I really want to go into is Nets and Lakers, as a guy that the Lakers drafted won the game on a dagger 3, and he wasn't on the Lakers.
What?
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think I do.
Who is it?
Is his name D'Angelo Russell?
His name is D'Angelo Russell.
I bet that was nice for him.
That was sweet, sweet redemption for him, I guarantee you.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously...
It was like that, like when you have like an ex and then she's like dating a new guy, and you see him in public, and you're like,
and then you date someone hotter?
Yeah, but like for D'Angelo Russell, like he last night he was strutting around like, I'm doing pretty good. Don't worry about me.
22 points, 13 assists means you're doing pretty well. I don't need you. I ain't missing you at all.
Do you think that he was like, oh, you can have Lonzo. You can have all that drama. I'm going to be over here doing my own thing,
Yeah, well, Lonzo Ball himself had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. LeBron James had 36 points, 13 rebounds, a classic outing for him.
Mm-hmm. Lonzo Ball had a good game. I watched most of this game, and
he made 5 of 9 threes. He made 5 3-pointers. For him,
really
that's
cracked
rare.
me up, though. What I thought was really funny when I was watching this game is that he was like, in the first half, there was a 3 or 4 minute span where he was on fire. Like he hit, I want to say like 4 in a row, and like 2 of them were threes, and he wasn't even thinking. He was just pulling up, and then like he's like on a heat check, right? Because he's feeling it,
Right.
and then he throws up like 2 terrible air balls, like back to back, and then Luke Walton immediately pulls him out of the game. I thought it was pretty funny because it was like the announcers were like, "Man, Lonzo's never shot it like this," and it was like the next 2 shots were like, "Oh my god!"
And back to normal.
I think they call that regression to the mean. I think that's
I think the
term.
heat check just turned out to be cold. I think that's the way to put it.
Hey, you know what though? If he can shoot the ball like he did last night, then the Lakers will be a lot
This
better.
was the Lakers' second straight loss, and Brooklyn Nets are on a 6-game winning streak right now.
Hey, don't look now. This ain't your uncle's Brooklyn Nets, you know?
Or, your 5 years ago Brooklyn Nets, or your 2 years ago, or your 1 year ago Brooklyn Nets.
Or the New Jersey Nets, too.
Oh, that's too soon.
Keith Van Horn.
What about him? He was.
They went to the finals. Remember the Nets went to the finals?
Crushed back-to-back
Jason
years.
Kidd,
Vince
Keith
Carter.
Van Horn. Was
No,
it?
that was afterwards. I apologize.
Yeah.
No, but they went
They
back,
lost to the Lakers.
and then they went again and lost again. They went back-to-back and lost twice.
Did they? I don't remember
Yeah,
that. I do remember Keith Van Horn.
2003, they lost to the Spurs.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they and it was a joke on both accounts. They got swept, I believe, by who was it? They got
The Lakers.
Thank you. I don't know why I just blanked on the Lakers.
Because I
for some
think
reason.
didn't the Lakers beat the Sixers and the Nets back to back? Like that was
2001. No, maybe
pretty
actually.
bad.
Well,
It
they
was pretty
got
bad.
swept, and Byron Scott was the head coach of that team, the Nets team, and then they lost in 6 to Greg Popovich and the Spurs.
You know what I find interesting about you mentioning Byron Scott?
What about him?
He was asked in 2001 if somebody was not a fan of the NBA and you wanted to show them.
By the way,
game.
you were right. It was the Sixers and then the Nets. But continue.
Byron Scott was asked in 2001 if you could take somebody to an NBA game to show them like what the NBA is like. You know where he said that he would take them to? Which
Where?
city? He said, if I could take anybody to a game to show them what the NBA was all about, I would take them to Sacramento.
Really?
He did.
Oh, because Arco Arena was probably the hottest thing at the moment.
Yeah, and it was, that was when the Kings were good.
Well,
and it was
they're
bumping.
making a comeback.
But
Don't call it a
But
comeback.
it was. I thought that was an interesting quote because you could have said like Boston or LA. Yeah, you
or
could have said
Chicago.
a lot of different teams. Yeah. Yeah. So Lakers, they take an L last night. That game was weird, man. It was like they were always trailing in this game, which I found very odd. They kept fighting back, give them credit, but you know what? I really love those Nets uniforms, those city uniforms that they wear with the Biggie inspired trim.
Oh yeah,
Those are super nice. I think they might be my favorite.
I wish
NBA jersey.
the NFL were creative in their jerseys. Like they, instead of being so strict about their jersey rules, they were lenient, like the NBA and the college football and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's just a really cool. I do like some of those city jerseys. I will be.
Some
honest.
of those cities are gorgeous.
but the
and
Brooklyn
then-
one, man,
yeah.
like look at this thing. Like look at
Oh
that.
no, I've
thing.
seen it. It looks awesome.
It's got the Biggie inspired Coogee sweater. That's a dope look. I wish that they just wore these all the time. To be honest with you, I'd be down with that because it's very unique. Like this is no one looks like.
I
this.
also like the 76ers one where it's the stars, like it's the Revolutionary War type of look. I like that one a lot too. Chicago has the Chicago flag jerseys. I like those a lot too. Those are gorgeous.
What about the T-Wolves purple ones, like the Prince inspired ones?
I dig it. I understand it. I like the Lakers purple ones too. The new updated purple ones with the black stripes.
You like those?
Yeah, I like them.
I think it's weird
What
to
do
see
you think?
Lakers.
What do you think of the Magic one that has like the
I
outer
don't-
space on it?
I don't really care for the Lakers wearing purple though. Like I think
No,
that
that's what they've always worn though.
But I mean, the yellow and the white and the black is what I kind of see.
The
them.
black. They always wore purple as a way.
Yeah, they have a black alternate, but
They rarely use those though.
the purple is weird though for the Lakers. Like the
I
purple,
like them.
they're okay.
I like the Orlando Magics where it's like looks like it's outer space. They have stars on them and stuff. and then it's just the logo.
Mm-hmm.
You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like these?
Yeah, that one's
I like those. I just sometimes the littlest designs are the best.
I still like the Miami Vice ones like the best of all the.
They should just change their logo to pink. Honestly,
that pink and teal look is super good, man.
It is really good.
I like it. It's real unique,
and it's Miami Vice. Like everyone knows Miami Vice.
It reminds me of those plastic cups.
Plastic cups?
Yeah, you know those old school plastic cups with the teal design, like the weird little squiggly design on the front?
Oh, those are, oh God, that's like 2000 or like 1999.
Yeah, they're like super old, right? But like, that's what that logo reminds me.
You know what jerseys I think are ugly, though?
Which ones?
The Cleveland Cavaliers, the Land jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
Those are really
They're not that good.
Like, I like called the Land, I get that, but the color scheme is gross. Like, not even red or any color that matches with them.
Yeah, I'm going to go, for me, Miami and Brooklyn, 1 and 2 for those City Edition uniforms. Yeah, I think those are pretty cool.
You can't really go wrong with a lot of them. A lot of them are really, really nice. Even Sacramento's has a nice one.
Did you see Cleveland won last night, though? Against the Pacers of all teams, the hottest team in the NBA, Indiana, loses to Cleveland.
92-91.
And it was at home, too.
Yeah. And for the Pacers, they had no one go over 20 points, but Miles Turner had 10 rebounds to his credit.
Larry Nance Jr. got
15-16. He had 15 points, 16 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for Matt Dellavedova. I said Dellavedova. Sorry, I said it right. Dellavedova. Yeah. Because he was on the best team in the NBA, and then he goes to arguably the worst team in the NBA. I feel so bad for that guy. He finally leaves the Cavaliers. He goes, all right, I'm on the Bucks. They're not doing so well, but we're getting up there. They get better and better, and then they go to the arguably the best team in the East, up there with the Raptors, and then they trade him back to Cleveland.
Matthew Dellavedova is a big reason why LeBron is so good. Like, the fact that we're talking about Dellavedova today, when he's like such a subpar NBA player.
He had that one good season or one good finals
season because he played on the same team as LeBron James, right? Like, it's crazy.
You know who else won was the Hawks, though. We should talk about that because I think we should stop talking about Dellavedova.
Did every team except for the Nuggets? That was the team with the worst record.
The underdogs, you mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Bradley Beal had 29 points, 10 rebounds, and still the point guard with 10 rebounds too, which is always nice to see. Couldn't get it done as just I don't know. It was the Hawks' night. I mean, Jeremy Lin had 16 points. Lin Sanity returned for a very
Jeremy Lin, G League superstar.
Do you remember him on the Knicks? And then he was the hottest.
Insanity, man. That was
the hottest thing in basketball, and then it just died out.
He's played on seems like 25 teams.
Oh, he's played on he's been went to the Lakers, and he went to the Hornets, then he went to the Nets, then he went to the
Knicks, Warriors.
He was on the Warriors.
He started with the Warriors.
Oh, I meant after Linsanity is what I meant.
He was with Warriors,
and then he got a weird, stupid haircut.
Nets, Magic, Lakers. Who am I missing? Obviously, Hawks.
Probably all 30 teams in the NBA.
He's played with every team. Every team except for 10, maybe.
Yeah, I can't even name the 10. All right, I gotta look this up now. I'm gonna look it up.
I could tell you. I feel like the list of who he hasn't played for is shorter.
Oh, I agree with that. His salary right now is $12.5 million though. Still.
He's a scorer. He provides a bench scorer.
Wasn't his haircut a thing that was a problem?
He had a lot of different haircuts, though. He had the mohawk going on.
He also played for Harvard. I forgot he was an undrafted at Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Here's a list of teams he played for.
He'll dribble you up and kill
Golden
you in the
State
SATs.
Warriors. He got undrafted, signed by them. Then he went to New York, had Linsanity. Then he went to Houston. Then he went to L.A. Then he went to Charlotte. Then he went to Brooklyn. Then he went to Atlanta. So we played for 7 teams, yes.
Wow.
Obviously, the list of non-teams he played for is shorter or longer, but granted.
But it doesn't feel that way.
Okay, 7 teams since 2011. Or it's 2010, excuse me, is a lot. That's almost a team every year.
Mm-hmm.
The longest tenure was with the Rockets, and that was 2012 to 2014.
That's insane. That's Linsane.
Oh my god.
God, that was good. We need a little
bad. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Where's your?
I know, right?
That's like perfect.
I really screwed that one up.
But we should talk about the last game. We should talk about is the Nuggets winning again. No surprise to anybody.
How did that guy Jokic do? He's pretty good.
Probably amazing, like he always does.
32 and 16.
Yeah, shocker. He did amazing. Just because this team is amazing
God.
in so many ways.
Unbelievable, this guy Nikola Jokic.
And I mean, Harrison Barnes had a pretty good game for the Mavericks as well. I mean, 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
And Luka Doncic again at 23 point, 12 assist game for him. And
Did you say Hallelujah? Tis the season, Jeff. Tis the season.
The thing is, I wouldn't read too much into that. But speaking of reading, it's hard to read nowadays because there's probably so much on your plate. But you know what?
I see what you did there on your plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We ruined it now. You explained it. You ruined the joke. But let me finish what I was saying.
Go ahead, my friend.
I was talking about Audible. What would you like if we all listen more? Listening to audiobooks inspires us, motivates us, even brings us closer. And there's no better place to listen than Audible. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, and now Audible members get more than ever before. Each month they get 3 titles of their choice, an audiobook, 2 Audible originals, and a fitness programs that they can't get anywhere else. There's never been a better time to experience Audible. Try it free for 30 days by visiting audible.com/GSMCbook or by texting the code GSMCbook to 500500. Once again, audible.com/GSMCbook or texting the code GSMCbook to 500500 gets you a 30-day trial.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We finished on with the NBA, and we did our Pro Bowls. Now let's go on to other news at hand. And today is actually National Committing Day, I believe.
National what?
Committing Day for high schoolers to college.
National Signing Day?
Signing Day, right. Or committing, same thing.
Yeah, but committing sounds weird. It sounds like relationships, you know?
I'm officially committing to you as
like sponsored by Tinder, National Committing Day.
I could see. I'm surprised Tinder doesn't have its own bowl. The Tinder Bowl.
Oh God.
I
don't know about that. That sounds like.
What's wrong with it?
That sounds like a nightclub. Like
Tinder Bowl.
I'm gonna open up a nightclub and call it the Tinder Bowl.
Okay, have fun with that.
Yeah.
You probably get sued.
Why is that?
Because Tinder is probably trademarked.
Come on, man. I could use it.
Sometimes like people use that's
the Backpack Kid is suing Fortnite.
Wait, really?
Yeah, for using the floss dance.
That's been going on for months, though. Why now all of a sudden?
He is suing Fortnite for using the floss dance without his permission.
But this has been going on for a long time now. Why do it all of a sudden now?
Yep. But you know what? He'll probably win some money.
Yeah, obviously. They're probably just going to say, screw it, we'll pay you off.
Fortnite's actually getting sued by a couple different people for the dances because they've taken other dances from...
They've taken a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. So,
and other people have taken, like Call of Duty takes it from their Battle Royale mode and all that good stuff.
So we're going to see like a whole slew of that happening.
Well, I think we're at the end of the Fortnite fad, honestly.
You think so?
Yeah, I honestly think so. You know Ninja, that professional gamers
with the blue hair.
He's actually red hair now because I saw he was at I forget what basketball. I think it was at the LA Lakers game, and he was on the big screen saying professional gamer and like Ninja, and everyone was cheering. I'm like, this dude's that. I didn't realize he was that popular.
He's hugely popular.
Who knew you could get popular by just playing video games and having colored hair?
Mm-hmm.
I've actually never seen him play, so I can't say whether or not he's not.
I watched this thing about him, and like he went to.
Is he entertaining?
People went and like to like a stadium and watched him play video games.
That's
on stage.
That's absurd. Like, I love video games. I play them all the time myself. I don't think I would go to a stadium to watch a guy play Fortnite though, unless it was like if it was a comedian play video games. I would totally go to that. How funny would that be? A comedian talking over video games? I think that would be pretty funny. But he's not a comedian. Anyways, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, National Signing Day.
Yeah, there was one that happened on ESPN2 in where the commit safety Jeremiah Cradell picked Oklahoma, and as he was picking, he did the horns down on television, bringing that rivalry to a whole new level.
So he's going to Oklahoma, you said?
Yeah. That was a bold move to do the horns down immediately, though.
I can't believe that college really try to make that a penalty.
What, the horns down thing?
Yeah,
or
just a taunting penalty.
You know, remember that?
Like, why is it cool if you can do horns up, but it's a penalty if you do horns down? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
They must be from Texas, so they do the penalty. But do you remember the LSU punter or kicker that did the fake, and he was taunting right before he got to the end zone, and they got called back?
I think I remember
that was a long time ago. It was a few years ago. But I feel like a taunting penalty should not bring the ball back. If he taunts again to the end zone,
be added on to the kickoff, right, or the extra point,
just like in the NFL. It should not be costing people.
If you point at somebody or something like that. That's a dumb. That is dumb. I agree with that.
It should not take away a touchdown. I mean, come on, that's a little ridiculous.
So what else happened National Signing Day?
There's actually a really cool moment in where a man was committing to Syracuse, and he told his friend who was disabled, he was in a wheelchair, and I'm not aware what disease he had, but he was the one that announced it for him, which I thought was a really cool moment. Mm-hmm. And it just shows what it's all about, really. Just there's more than the football. It was a very special moment. And he commented, the only disability is a bad attitude, and I happen to think that's a very cool thing to say. And it's a very unselfish thing to have your good friend who's in a wheelchair say where you're going and announce it to the world because people are having their eyes on you. I think it's just a really cool, very humble thing to do.
I agree. That's a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, that was the biggest moment, the biggest signing moment of the day for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember Monet Davis, the pitcher from the Little League World Series? The girl?
Yeah, what about her?
Speaking of committing, she is going to play softball at Hampton University.
Hampton?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, she's in college already?
She is about to be. She's a senior in high school. So
Jesus,
she's parlayed. She was a 3-sport athlete in high school.
Did she play baseball?
She played softball on the women's softball team. She played soccer and she played basketball. And now she'll be taking her talents
to South Beach,
to Hampton.
I know, but I had to.
Yep. But that's pretty cool. I remember her like kind of taking the country by storm. You know,
everyone thought she was gonna be the first female MLB player.
So she'll go.
I mean, she still could be. I mean, it's still possible.
She'll go play at Hampton. That's a pretty tough university to get into as well. So she must be pretty intelligent to go along with her phenomenal athleticism.
Do you think, like, remember people kept saying she might be the first female MLB player? Do you think that still can happen?
Selfishly, I was hoping that she was going to play soccer because I knew that she was a 2-sport athlete at that time and that she was a big-time soccer player. So I was like, man, this girl could be like a stud for the U.S. women's national team one day. Go win a World Cup.
I mean, it's still possible. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, if she's playing softball in college, then she's probably not going to play soccer any further.
Yeah, but who knows? She might actually get drafted by the MLB. Who knows? I mean, you have how many rounds are there? Like 27 rounds
for 27
baseball draft.
Yeah,
Like, why not just take
I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen her play in 4 years, so who knows what she can do now.
There was a guy that got drafted by the NFL who never played football in his life, but he was just such a big baseball player that they gave him an opportunity. Mm-hmm. So anything can happen.
That's true.
Yeah. Gosh, when was that Little League World Series? How long ago was that? That must have been
4 years ago.
God, was it only 4 years ago? And yeah, she's senior now. So she was 14 then?
I believe.
So she's 18 now?
Yeah, she's a senior, so probably 17.
17, 18? Okay. I'm just trying to think how old I am. I've gotten old.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, 23. Gosh, I didn't realize how old I was until now.
Oh, man, better start planning for the,
my AARP card.
You better start planning for, when you're gone. What the family will do.
Oh. I was like, wow.
You have a will?
I don't, but I'm definitely going to be worried. I'm not going to write you in it because I think you're about to kill me.
Why? Why would you say that?
Because, why would you bring up my will?
Well, you were talking about it.
I was talking about getting old. I was talking about my death.
Speaking of getting old, I'm pretty old and tired of the ESPN Monday Night Football crew.
Who? Of all of them?
Jason Witten, Joe Tessitore, and Booger McFarland. ESPN is committed to keeping them for next year. That's why I bring it up.
Well, Jason Witten's just starting.
Jason Witten is terrible. Absolutely terrible. But ESPN thinks that he's going to be good.
Who's worse, him and Troy Aikman?
Do you know that the other night Jason Witten said that Cam Newton is incredible with yards after the catch? He said that.
I think he meant something different in his defense.
But did you hear that?
Yes.
You heard the audio?
I think he was.
I know that he meant something different. We all know that he meant something different, but that's like a pretty bad one to say, right? Like that's not like you miss.
Cam Newton is so good at.
He meant running the football and avoiding tacklers. We all.
Cam Newton is great at intercepting the ball on defense.
I get it. We all understood. But if you're watching that game, I was like, wait, what? What'd he say? Yards after the catch. Cam Newton's been playing the wrong position the whole time.
Yeah.
Maybe they should.
Well, you remember people saying maybe he should him and Tim Tebow should play tight end.
So what I saw the other night was Christian McCaffrey threw a touchdown pass.
50 yards.
And then what I heard was that Cam Newton is really good at yards after catch. So maybe they're all playing the wrong position. Maybe Cam should be a wide receiver and McCaffrey should be the quarterback. Hey, I'm just taking what I'm seeing and hearing, All
right. I mean,
what do you think of this crew, though, man? I think they're terrible. I'm not going to lie. I would say that they're worse than Joe Buck, and I think he's the worst.
I'm not going to lie. I on Monday nights, and I sometimes
they're so boring, right?
I block them out.
And Booger McFarland's whole spiel where he's on the sideline with that moving. What is he on? He's on a chair.
I hate that thing. Oh my gosh! Can I rant about that?
I know that people get pissed because it blocks their view, but
they have a television screen. No one's paying hundreds upon thousands of dollars to look at a guy go on a chair and look. Oh, look! I can watch it on the screen still. I hope someone throws I am surprised. I am surprised no one throws a beer at him or something. Aren't you? Someone's throwing stuff at him?
I'm with it, man. I don't
I hate that thing. That is the most cringeworthy thing. You don't need that. That is the most unnecessary thing you could possibly have for a football game because you're blocking the crowd. They're paying more money than ever to go to these games because you're blocking fans that are sitting right in front in midfield.
And I agree. I want to hear another funny quote that Jason Witten said this year.
And they said they were going to keep that. I hate that. Okay, continue.
So we just talked about Jason Witten saying that Cam Newton was great with yards after the catch. He also said earlier this year that instead of the quote, pulling a rabbit out of your hat, he said, pull a rabbit out of its head.
So Mortal Kombat fatality now to rabbits? Speaking of which, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 11 to come out next year. But granted, he's talking about fatalities to rabbits now? Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's great? Ripping a rabbit's head off. That's basically what he just said.
They call it Booger McFarland, who's been bouncing up and down the sidelines on a jerry-rigged camera cart.
I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Oh, man.
Whose idea was it? I want to know whose idea was that to have a jerry cart around blocking everyone's view and having...
I have no idea.
I hope he gets fired. He won't
Anyways.
because they think it's such a great idea, but in reality, they don't know what the heck they're thinking.
Anyways, we should go to a break and come back. We got a few more stories to wrap up the day.
Don't like that rig. Can I complain about it more when we get back? Maybe just a little bit.
You can complain about whatever. I don't care.
We'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We're on
you
our
okay?
final countdown. I'm fine. I just hate that thing. I hate that stupid jury rig thing. It wastes time.
You are so
don't deserve
mad right
you don't
now.
deserve that seat. You don't deserve those good views. You already have a job at ESPN. You have everyone's dream job, arguably, that's in the crowd, and so you're just going to block their view too. That's just a huge middle finger to the fans at that game that paid probably their entire paycheck that month to get those seats. So maybe don't overprice and don't block your fan base.
Feisty.
He's not even entertaining either.
Sometimes Wednesdays do this to me too. You know,
He's not even entertaining either, though. You know, I didn't have my coffee this morning.
I
so-
think
but he's
I
not
agree.
even that entertaining. He's
I agree
boring.
with you, but I think he's better than
His name's Booger. He's named after mucus. For God's sakes.
Booger.
Who
What's your
names?
name?
Is
Booger.
his real name Booger or is it a nickname?
Nah, his real name ain't Booger.
We gotta look. I gotta look. If his real name's Booger,
I
then
think
his
it's like
parents
Anthony, right?
It better be.
I think it's
What's his
Anthony
last name?
McFarlane.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
former Bucks player.
Why is his name Booger?
I think Jason Witten's not very good at his job.
I
I
think Booger McFarlane sucks at his job too. He shouldn't be blocking people.
all three of them are boring. Even Joe Tessitore sucks.
I hate the
that's
jury
just my
rig
opinion.
thing.
I think they could do better. In fact, Jeff, why don't you say...
And supposedly it's been modified to be less obstructive. Can you be less? Can you make it lower, or can you make it? I don't know. No, like destroy it.
Do you think that we could do a better
you're
job?
at the field. You're at the sidelines.
Do you think that me, you, and Booger could be a better crew?
No, we're not putting Booger on our group. We can do a better job, though.
I'm pretty sure if ESPN asked us to do the games, we wouldn't have any demands.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. But again, you know who would be great to call a game with? Gus Johnson.
Johnson. I like Gus Johnson.
He's personally my favorite.
Gus Johnson and Tony Romo. Mind blown.
Tony Romo does a good job, though.
That's what I'm saying. Gus Johnson and Tony Romo.
Because
I could watch them.
He talks as a.
I'd watch them do what do you call that game where you push the stones? Curling. I would watch curling.
But the thing is, they're so like Tony Romo's so intelligent when it comes to the quarterback position. He knows what plays are coming, and I love that. Like
Speaking of which, I was reading that. I was reading that he's been told to not call out plays.
Are you kidding? That's the best part.
He has been like the last couple weeks. He's been more reserved when it comes to that.
Like I love when he goes, "This is gonna be a run play up the middle, run play up the middle." I love that. I love that he can read the plays from the booth.
From what I've been reading, it sounds like he's been instructed not to do that because it takes away some of the. The mystery, I guess, right?
Oh, shut up. Oh,
well, I mean, for like viewers like us, we like it, but like the casual fan might not like it that much, you know?
I guess us.
They maybe like to be surprised. I don't know.
Oh my God, what's going to happen? A pass play! I can't believe it!
I guess it's like when you go see a movie and somebody ruins it for you, you know, like...
It's completely different. Those are two completely different. He's not going to say this is
All right, well, what if you
he's
go
not
to
gonna, He's not going to say... He doesn't say at the beginning of the game, it's going to be 28-24, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
That's what we do, actually.
Well, it's not like we know the outcome. It's not like he knows the outcome of what's going to happen.
All right, but... What if you went to go see a movie that you were excited about and somebody told you that there are certain key moments in the movie that were upcoming? Like, oh, he's going to die in the next scene or something like that. Like, that. I'm just trying to look at it. I'm trying to play devil's advocate right now. I don't agree because I'm with you. I like listening to Romo's insight when he's predicting
NFL
things.
and movies are two different things. That's all I got to say.
But it's still entertainment. It's still, you're watching it to be entertained. You're watching it to break away from everyday life, right?
Yeah. And our everyday life is literally sports.
So, Brian Kelly got named Coach of the Year in college football. What do you think about that?
Deserved. Absolutely.
I kind of thought it should have been Dabo.
Dabo
Swinney.
I know, but
best name in college football.
Sounds
dude.
like he should just be
Dabo
dabbing
Swinney.
shouldn't he just be dabbing all the time?
Yeah, he should be like when he says like, "Hey, I'm here with the Clemson coach," and then he just like does it like whenever somebody says his name. I'm here with Clemson coach Dabo, and then he just.
Wow, okay. We got to end it there. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Tune us in tomorrow as we'll be previewing
you don't
Thursday.
want to talk about Penny Hardaway talking mad trash
He
to Rick
talked.
Barnes?
Oh, I really wanted to do that, actually. He talked mad trash. He put on the hate.
He dropped a bomb on him.
He dropped the H-bomb, the A-bomb, the F-bomb, like so many different curse words.
Let's just put it this way. If you don't know the story, Penny Hardaway is not sending a Christmas card to the Barnes family. That is not happening.
No way.
Memphis-Tennessee rivalry is back, baby. I didn't know that there was a rivalry. I didn't know that there was a rivalry.
Well, explain to who's Barnes for the viewers at home.
Oh, Rick Barnes, the coach of Tennessee.
There you go.
Former coach of Texas, right? Back in the day?
Yep, I believe so.
I think he won a national championship, if I remember correctly.
That might have been the early 90s.
He coached the Durant team, though, I believe.
Did he? In 08?
I want to say he did.
Or
that wasn't his team that won, but he coached that
Mm-hmm.
team. So he is the coach of Tennessee, and Penny Hardaway, of course, NBA legend, who is now the coach of Memphis, who, believe it or not, has the #1 recruiting class in the country for next year.
I think it's because he's an NBA legend.
He also got he coached high school before, and he got his player to commit, and his player, James Wiseman, is #1 recruit in the country. So that makes a big difference.
That's kind of interesting. Anyways.
That's cool, though.
That's about it, right?
Yeah, that's it. So anyways, some trash talk because they played each other the other day, and some hostile things happened on the court.
Yeah, not
some
nice
pushing,
words.
shoving.
No
but
nice words.
Penny Hardaway is not a fan of Rick Barnes and the way he handles his team, apparently. So
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yes.
Anyways, I got one more thing to say.
Okay.
What's the Dallas Mavericks coach's name?
I'll look it up.
Why is this evading me right now?
I don't know. He has a forgetful face, like his face you see. Avery Johnson.
No. That was you. That
No.
was back in the day.
Yeah, that was. I was like, wait a minute. As I was saying that, that's a dumb thing I'm saying.
It's God. What is his name?
Rick
Yes.
Rick
Carlisle.
Yes.
Rick
Well,
Carlisle.
there's an S in there. That's confusing.
You know who he looks like? Look him up. I'm going to tell you who he looks like.
Okay. Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He looks like Jim Carrey.
I'm seeing
It's
a picture.
weird.
I'm seeing a picture that he looks just like Jim Carrey.
If Jim
bald.
Carrey was clean shaven and bald, yeah.
That picture looks totally like him. He's got a weird face.
So
in
every
one of
time I
his
see the
pictures.
Mavericks play, I'm always like, I always think that Rick Carlisle.
Spoken.
I always assume that Rick Carlisle's a funny guy, but
Does
he's
he
probably
dress up
not.
as H. Ventura for Halloween every
He
year?
should. He
Probably.
should, right?
Yeah. He did coach the Detroit Pistons when they were in 2001, the year before they won an NBA title, which is very unfortunate for him.
All right, so I think we're done.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Please tune us in tomorrow. We'll preview Thursday Night Football and other news and quotes and quips and trips that happen in the
Trips,
world
huh?
of sports. We'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.